Hello, and welcome to the Live Past Crazy Show. Your host is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with her? Yanmitra appreciates you taking the time out to listen to the podcast, and it is her sincere hope that what we share is something that you can use to help you and someone you know live past crazy.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. Put this over here. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. What better place to be than here with me? Good morning, Nathan. I'm sorry, Nathaniel. I don't like to shorten people's names if they don't tell me to, because I hate when people shorten Yanmitra. Good morning, Mr. Nathaniel. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. We do have a podcast. It is the Live Past Crazy Show. It is being revamped, and I just got the new introduction for it. It is amazing. I love it. And if they don't do any social media, I have 5 books that are all available except for one. One is up for pre-order on Amazon. It will be on Amazon shortly. So you can read it, listen to it, or watch it. So please make sure you share. And for the ladies, the Sister Rise Retreat is coming up October 16th through the 18th. bit.ly/Sister Rise. And join me on that. If you would like to have your products in our swag bag, then please let me know. Let me make a note. It is bit.ly/Sister Swag to have your things. It's $25 to have your products added, and I only need 12 because it is for 12 women. So I hope you guys are ready to get this morning started. I hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. We had a great time yesterday. We talked about our self-imposed prisons, and we hold the key to breaking free from our prisons. But we looking for everybody else for the breakout code when we hold the code. And so today, y'all, let's get right into the Fearless quote of the day. And I love this one. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. And it's our Max Dupree. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. It is going to require a change. It's going to require something different. It's going to require something of you. You cannot become what you want by remaining what you are. Either you're going to accept one or you're not. Either you're going to move forward or you're not. There is no in between. Period. So you cannot become what you want by remaining what we are. The second quote is by E.T. If y'all don't know who Eric Thomas is, he goes by E.T. Hip Hop Preacher or Eric Thomas. Any of those names, if you put him in Google, I promise he will show up. He is the number one motivational speaker. It's him and then Tony Robinson and then Les Brown. And he said, phenomenal skill, average will. Average skill, phenomenal will. Will makes a difference. Your will makes a difference. So you have a phenomenal skill, but if you have average will of why, average will to do something, like you could be great at a thing, but if you don't have the will to do it, meaning if you don't have the motivation and the gumption to do it, then your phenomenal skill doesn't matter, because your will the thing that makes you do something, is not enough to sustain that skill. And you'll be lazy with it and you will do nothing with it. He said an average skill with phenomenal will, you can be average at something. And I think we all know someone or met people in our life who we were better at a thing than they were. So much better at it than they were. But they seemed to go further than we did because they may have known they had the average skill, but their willpower to do something was amazing. Their willpower to achieve the thing far exceeded your willpower. And so they took their average skill and added their phenomenal will and did amazing things. So phenomenal skill, average skill, phenomenal will makes a difference. I'm a firm believer in that. Your will of things makes a difference. That makes, and let's put it in simple terms. If you have an average skill, but you want to change the world, right? The difference of that looks like you foregoing a TV show to accomplish something you need to do. You maybe not hanging out for the day because you need to stay in the house and really write something out or to work on a project or to work on a product or to think a thought or to work on yourself. Phenomenal will looks like, I may not be the best at this, but my willpower says I will be the best at this. And you sacrifice some things in order to make that happen. Now, if you are insisting that your skill will take you places and you don't have to work on it and you don't have to do anything, you have an average will, then your skill will only take you so far. It will not hold you and it will not sustain you. Period. It will not hold you and it will not sustain you. So you can be gifted but not motivated. You could have an amazing skill but have a horrible will, and that will not take you far. You can see people who have all the benefits in the world and haven't went far because they assumed their phenomenal skill and their average will was going to take them. Like because they were so gifted at a thing, they assumed they don't have to do anything to sustain it. And so they have an average will, which means, oh, I don't have to do anything because I'm good at this. They never worked on it. That's why someone with an average skill can outwork, someone with an average skill and phenomenal will can outwork anyone, period. No doubt about it. Which brings us to the thought of the day. The three keys why you're not committed. Okay. This is what I've learned from myself. The three things why we're not committed to a thing, why we're not, as Grant Cardone says, you're interested but not committed. And that you may have a phenomenal skill, but you're allowing your average will to keep you where you are. So, first of all, you're scared to be committed to a thing. You're scared to write it, see it, and remember it. You are scared to even think that thought. So you're afraid that if you think a different thought, and I think all of this combined is where we get caught up in what other people think of us and what other people say about us, and us wanting to present a certain way to the public. We are scared to say what it is that we really want. We may be afraid to say, these are the things that I'm committed to. These are the things that I want, and this is how I'm going to do it. And because you're afraid to do that, you're not committed to anything. The only thing now that you're committed to is your average skill and your average will. It doesn't matter that you were great once upon a time. Did you work on that thing? Did you cultivate it? Did you nurture it? Did you allow it space to grow? Or did you just assume because you were good at something, you didn't have to work on it? Period. So you're scared to write it out. You're scared to think the thought. You're scared to do something different than what your friends are currently doing, which is my favorite quote. You're qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous in front of your current community. And so because of that, you are afraid to be committed to any thought or any level of change because it is going to change how you see you and how other people see you. So the 3 keys that you need to stay committed, the 3 keys that you need to stay committed, you need to write it out. Because when you do that, you're allowing yourself to get it out of here. Your mind is your superpower, right? If my mind is my superpower, then my second superpower is writing the thing out and acknowledging it, right? So if you're scared, that's why you're scared. You don't want to write it out. You don't want to see it. You don't want to remember it, because when you do that, it is going to require you to look at your whole environment and do something about it, because the average skill, phenomenal will, meaning you don't have to be really good at a thing, but if your willpower is so that you are bound and determined to achieve the thing, that's going to make all the difference in the world. So number one, the 3 reasons why you're not committed is you don't want to write it out. And vice versa, these are the 3 things that you need to do to be committed. You need to write it out. You need to see it. Where is it? Like, once you write it out, where is it? Did you stick it in a drawer? Is it in a notebook somewhere that you can't find? Put it somewhere where you're going to be able to see it every single day. And then remember it every day. When you have, for me, so I write it down. I have it in my bathroom. I have it in my office. It's in my phone. And so I can see it and I know where it is. And so when I have those days, number 3, when I am absolutely frustrated and just, you know how you get frustrated with the whole world and everything just seems to tick you off? When I'm having that moment, I remember what I wrote. I look at it to see it. And then I remember why I am starting this journey. And like we talked about yesterday, and really all last week, is that the growth process is going to require hand-to-hand combat, that you're fighting the old you with the new you. You've got to get up close and personal. And that if you're looking at your self-imposed prison, right? And the quote from yesterday goes perfect right here. Don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and reality. If you can dream it, you can make it so. And the 3 keys why you're not committed are the same 3 keys to be committed. Write it out, see it. Where is it after you've written it? And then remember it every day. So the difference between my dream and my reality is what I can see. Then I need to write it down so that I can see that bridge between the 2. So I can see that junction between the 2. If I don't do that, it's going to make it harder for me, because then I can forget. I can make excuses. I can say, oh, I want to watch TV instead. Oh, I want to take a nap instead. Oh, I'm tired. I don't have the patience. I don't know. And then I can use all of those reasons, because either you're going to be interested or committed. I don't want you to be motivated when you leave the show or when you read the book. I mean, it's great that you are, but I want you to be committed to the process of you, committed to what it is that you want. Because you can have a phenomenal skill and an average will. I mean, you can be really good at something, but your will to achieve it is horrible. So you never achieve it. And you can have you can be average skilled at something, but you have a phenomenal will to achieve the thing. And that makes all the difference. Will makes a difference. And don't you think about that? Perhaps it is your safety net that is killing you. Perhaps you have never done anything outside of your box because of the security that you feel in your immediate environment. And because you don't want to challenge your immediate environment, right? Because you don't want to challenge that, you never check or go outside of your safety net. You never see what is outside there. So the 3 keys on why you're not committed. Number 1, you're scared to write it. You're scared to see it. And you're scared to remember or stay committed to it. So then we have to ask ourselves the question, like, why? Why are you scared to be committed to the thing? Whatever it is. Why are you scared to be committed to a new relationship? Why are you scared to be committed to a career? Why are you scared to be committed to whatever that thing is? Why are you afraid of that? Is it because it challenges you? Is it because if you said it or spoke it, your boys or your girls will look at you like you were crazy? Are you afraid to be committed to something because you're not sure how it's going to turn out. Sometimes we're afraid to be committed to something because we're afraid of how it's going to turn out. And because we can't have a definite answer of how things are going to end, like, JoJo, how for real, how is this going to work? And because you can't answer that, then you never become committed to the idea. You never think about it. So you're scared to write it, see it, and remember it. And these are the exact 3 keys that you need to be committed. So the first one is you got to write it out. Why are you scared though? Why are you scared to write out the dream that you say you want? Is it? And I'll tell you, confessions and conversations from JoJo. Some of mine was because I was scared to write it out because it was so drastically different than what my family knew. It was so drastically different than what my friends knew. It was so drastically different from my current environment. See, at the shelter, when I was living with friends, when I was living in a house and the lights was off and the water was off, I still wrote out what I wanted to see. I wasn't afraid to see that. In the beginning, I had a hard time connecting the dots and bridging my reality from my dream. But when I chose to write it out, to say, this is not what I want, and this is what I want, then the dots became easier. And I put it somewhere where I could see it every day. It's in my bathroom. It's in my bedroom. It's on my refrigerator. It's on my computer. It's on my phone. See it. So once you have been bold enough to write it out, you need to see it. Where is it? Is it lost somewhere and you done forgot? And I'm a firm believer, out of sight, out of mind. You're like, man, I forgot. I ain't seen it in so long. Have you said it to a friend? Man, I forgot about you. I ain't seen you in so long. Same thing happens with your mindset and your dreams. And then you need to remember it every day. Every morning that I get up, I remember. When I get angry and frustrated about something, I go and I read and I remember what it is that I'm trying to achieve. Write it out, see it, where is it, and remember it every day. And then think about, is your safety net the thing that is killing you? Are your parents in your neighborhood, your current community, is that your safety net so that it's killing you so that you don't advance towards anything else? Is that true? We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. That's the quote today by Max Dupree. And E.T. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, said, phenomenal skill, but average will. Average will and phenomenal skill, or average skill. I said the average skill and phenomenal will makes a difference. You can be average at something. You don't have to be the best at a thing. But if your willpower to achieve the thing is there, you will be amazing. You can have a phenomenal skill, but if your willpower to achieve the thing is not there, then you won't have it. It won't be. Some of us used to be, won't be great at things. And I don't want to say that. No, I don't want to say won't be great. Some of us have amazing skills. We have phenomenal skills. And we could absolutely change the world. But because it requires more willpower from us. Good morning, Tiffany. Because it requires more willpower from us, we don't take that phenomenal skill and apply it. And y'all, please go watch the video. It's by E.T. And I don't even remember the name of it. But Eric Thomas, hip hop preacher, E.T., whichever one you call him, he said that phenomenal skill and average will. You can be really great at something, but if your will to do it does not match your skill, then the space of where you're going is not going to last long. Just because you're great at something does not mean that you don't have to have the will behind it to continue to practice it, to get better. That's why you can see people, and I'm guilty of this, who have average skill and phenomenal will. I see people who, and I ain't even gonna lie, there have been my organization so far has hired 2 speakers. And so I've been there 3 years. In the 3 years, they've hired 2 speakers to come and speak. And the speakers were not good. I went to sleep. The people around me went to sleep. People got up and left. And I got angry and mad at myself because here they are, average skilled, but with a phenomenal will, got in front of a Fortune 500 company. Here I am with a better skill, and maybe I didn't do the phenomenal will that they had to get where they are. Maybe I didn't shoot my shot. Maybe I didn't ask for the thing, which brings back the quote that I love. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. So I can't say that I want to be a great speaker and speak to organizations if I am in my safety net, because sometimes your safety net, as Eric says, is going to kill you. Your safety net is the thing that's going to kill you. So, I can speak in front of the Fearless Morning Show. Oh, yeah. And I've spoken to organizations before, but the phenomenal will says, but you can speak at the Fortune 500, JoJo, you can do that. But someone with an average skill and phenomenal will outwork you every single day of the week. It doesn't matter your skill level. It matters your will level. And your willpower makes all the difference in the world. I am a firm believer that once I tell myself I can achieve a thing, there is no in-between stages. And that's how I got through school. So for those that don't know, school was, in the beginning, it was easy for me. The more I learned, the harder it got. And I had to study different than other kids, right? Like I understood it, but I had to put it in language that I could understand. So I would often rewrite chapters of the books so that JoJo could understand it in my way and not in a teacher's way or the way it was written. And I was determined and dedicated to learn that thing. Because that, for me, that was important. Yes, I was a nerd, but that was important for me. And I took my average skill and added a phenomenal will to make a difference. It wasn't because I ain't saying it was easy. So if you have an average skill and you have a phenomenal will, you're going to sacrifice some things. You're going to sacrifice some things. You're going to sacrifice hanging out with the friends. And for me, when I first got to college, my first semester, I was like, okay, let's go. On scholarship. Like, that ain't fixing the word. That second semester, I went back to what I did in high school. I went and bought me a notebook and I wrote out my schedule. So that meant Sunday through Thursday, from 7 to the library closed, which was 9 or 10, JoJo had a work schedule. And that meant I did certain things from 7 to 9. And I made that sacrifice so that I could see the result that I wanted. So the 3 keys that why you're not committed is you're afraid to write it out. You're afraid to see it because it's going to challenge what your mama said. Because your mama probably said, you were stupid, you was a nobody. And you writing out your dream is challenging that. Maybe your daddy or your husband told you that. Maybe you writing it out is challenging your job right now. Maybe you writing it out is challenging your career. Maybe you writing it out is challenging everything that you know at your core. And so because it's challenging you, you ain't going to write it out. So if I don't write it out, I ain't got to be committed to it. And you're scared because you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Because if you see it, because when you write it out and you see that thing on paper, your mind takes a snapshot of it and it seeks out to do that thing. Period. And you're afraid to see it. And then 3, you're afraid to remember what it is that you said you wanted. Because when you write it out, you see it and you remember it, you have to do something about it. There is no other option. And those are 3 things that are absolutely going to keep you motivated. Write it out. Write out what it is that you want to see and why. And then see it. Where is it? Don't stick it in a drawer. If you come to my house, it's in my bathroom. If you go to my bedroom, the Waddell Decree is in my bathroom. The Waddell Decree is over here behind me. It's over there in front of me every day. And 3, remember it. So on those days when I'm frustrated or I'm not sure if I know the answer or the right steps, I remember. I go back to the decree that I wrote. Now I have 2 or 3 because the one I wrote was 5 years ago and it's a little ratty. And I've added to and taken away because some of the things, this is an amazing thing. When I showed the girls, look at the Waddell Decree that we wrote 5 years ago. That my kids hate me. On this point, they don't like me. because every morning before they left the house, and even if we was in a hurry and we left the house without doing this, I brought it with us. It was in the car. And so every morning before you got out my car, before I dropped you off at school, what's the water decree? What does it say? Read it to me. And for Rosie, who could not read at that moment, you repeat after your sister. I'm driving, so Courtney, you read that water decree. Courtney would say a sentence, we would repeat it after. She would say a sentence, we would repeat it after. At the end, we would say, amen, we believe it, we receive it, it is so. And things, everything that we said on that water decree 5 years ago, every last one of them came so. You write it out, you see it, and you remember it. There's got to be something that is before you at all times that's going to remind you of where you're going, why you're going, and what's your destination. And but even if you don't know, like your final destination, that's okay. You can write out what it is that you want to see. The quote from yesterday is perfect. Don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and your reality. If you can dream it, you can make it so. So the space between my dream and my reality is me writing out the thing. It's me seeing it. It's me remembering. Those are the 3 steps in between your dream and your reality. And those are the 3 things that are keeping you exactly where you are. That's why you're not committed. That's why you're not interested. That's why things don't stick. That's why you can be phenomenal at a thing. You can be so amazing. You can be the best of the best of the best. And you wonder why you're not seeing the benefits of it, because your average will and phenomenal skill don't mix. You cannot have a phenomenal skill and be average will, meaning you can't just assume your skill is going to, because the scripture says your gift will make room for you. Every other scripture after that tells you that there's action required. And so if you don't have the will to go along with the skill, it has nowhere to go. It has nothing pushing it. So that's why an average skilled person can have a phenomenal will and do way better than you. That's why JoJo can get upset because my company hired these 2 speakers, and I know they were paid well past 6 figures. They couldn't even keep the audience engaged within the first 7 minutes. People were leaving. I knew I was better than them. But did I apply my phenomenal will to that situation? And so I can't get mad because they took their average skill and applied a phenomenal will. And I may be phenomenal skilled at that thing, but I had my average will meeting it, and I got exactly what I got. Is your safety net killing you? E.T. asked that question. He said, is your safety net killing you? Is the thing that you're certain of and you don't want to move past the thing that is killing you? I'm so good at this. So here's confession and conversation number 2 for JoJo. And I had to learn this the hard way. A mentor of mine told me this, and I didn't believe her. No, not a mentor. I read this in one of my PhD classes, and it was a class on information. We talked about information hoarders. How some people at their jobs, right, they like doing all the work and they don't like sharing information of how to do their job because they assume someone's going to take it, so they hoard all the information. And at my last job, I was the exact same way. And what I learned in that class is that if you're great at something, then you leave steps and clues to prepare for the next person to take over because that's greater for you. So in my last job, I loved it. I loved what I did. But I did not love the pay that I received. But because I love what I did, I took the pay, right? And then I came to realization that the pay is never going to come. I can continue to do what I love to do without the pay. Is that going to be enough? And it was not enough. But here was the key thing for JoJo. I was not preparing for the next step of my future. So my safety net was killing me. I was complaining about the pay. Love the job, but complaining about the pay and everything else. And my safety net was, but I love the job. I love the hours. I love the flexibility. Like, I don't want to start the flexibility. You start a new job. They got to learn your schedule. And so I had every reason and excuse in the world why I could not do something. And then something clicked. And I remember that class from my PhD program. And I started to prepare. Good morning, B. And I started to prepare for the next step. So that meant I took every job that I did and I wrote out processes for it. And I put it where people could see it. And I wrote out processes for everything. And it took me almost 6 months to write it out. And by December 30th, because y'all, oh my God, I just got to December 31st is right here. And I said by December 31st, I will be in another position because I have made sure things are in order for me to step away, because my safety net here's my safety net. Don't nobody know how to do what I do, so I can't go. Y'all don't make no money, but because don't nobody know how to do what I do, I can't go. I got to stay at this job. So when I removed my safety net and I made it very clear that anybody could do my job, 1, number 2, here are the steps that you can do it. 3, I even made you a workbook and I included pictures and I gave everybody a copy. So now I removed my safety net. So now I was free to step out into something else. You can have a phenomenal skill and average will and not go a place. You can have an average skill and phenomenal will and take over the world. Or your safety net could kill you in between. And your safety net is you don't want to challenge what you see. And it's okay if you like it. That's an amazing thing. But if you have that itch or that's something that just keeps nagging, like I know there's more, don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and your reality. That's where you write it out. That's where you see it. That's where you put it everywhere. I wish I could show y'all this picture. I have December 31st, 2020 written, and I had Rosie paint me a picture of it, and it is the only thing that I see every morning, all day long as I sit here and work. You cannot be afraid to write it down, see it, put it somewhere you can see it every day, and then remember your why. And those are the reasons why you're not committed, why things ain't changing, and those are the exact steps that's going to allow the change. The worst imprisonment is the one we impose on ourselves. That was yesterday's quote. We can't break free from our prison because we are the ones holding the key. And it is your will. Your will makes a difference. You can be gifted, but if you're gifted and not motivated, you ain't going nowhere. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. So on this wonderful, absolutely wonderful day, it's going to be an amazing day. I don't want you to be scared to be committed to a thing. If you have the desire to do this thing, write it down. Put it somewhere where you can see it and remember it. I promise. I'm going to show y'all a picture of the water decree that I wrote 5 years ago. You can't see none of the words because that's how much it's been handled. But I bet you if you tell Courtney and Rosie to repeat the water decree, they got you for half of it because I made them repeat it every single morning. Because when you write it out, you see it. Brain science, your brain takes a picture of it and seeks out to achieve that thing, and you put it in your remembrance every day. It will happen. That is the space between your dream and your reality. But if, my friend, you're afraid to write that down, the space will get bigger. That I know, that I can promise you. The space will get bigger, and you will see that you will assume that it is harder to close the gap. When closing of the gap between your dream and your reality is here, it is your superpower. It is your mind. Until you understand that part, this gap between your dream and reality will continue to expand. And it will be so impossible for you to comprehend the reality of that you can change from your dream to your reality, that you can cross this over. Phenomenal skill and average will. We know people who have been amazing at a thing, but because they don't have the willpower to accomplish it or to stay with it, they didn't go anywhere. How many people you know who are great basketball players? Like they went to state, they went to college, played amazing basketball, football, whatever it was. But when it came to them being dedicated to it, their will was gone because they rather hang out, drink. Because ain't nobody committed to that part of the process. And how many of us know people who have average skill but phenomenal will and who have changed the world? Because they weren't no better than you. You probably were better than them at the thing, but their will to do the thing far exceeded your will. So when you wanted to watch TV, it was like, you know what? I know I aggravate the piss out of my friends. Pure piss. I'm sorry. I aggravate the devil out of my friends. Joe, have you seen this show? I know I aggravate my mom. Jojo, did you see the news? I don't watch TV. Jojo, did you see that movie? Oh, I ain't been to the movies in about 3 years. Oh, did you see this TV show? No, can't say. Because I'm going to take my average skill, and I'm going to apply my phenomenal will, and that's how I'm going to help one sister. That's how I'm going to be my sister's keeper. That's how I'm going to be a Live Past Crazy specialist. I'm willing to sacrifice that thing. And if you're afraid to write it out, to see it, and to remember it, then you can be way better at it than me. But my will is stronger than yours. I can outwork you. If your will does not match your skill, they have to match. Your will has to supersede your skill. You've got to work on it. So on this wonderful, absolutely wonderful day, I want you to be amazing. Please share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Don't forget the Sister Rise Retreat, bit.ly/Sister Rise. Let me type it in here for you. I would love for you to join me there. We are going to have an amazing time. That's also if you have any products and you would like to have them featured in our gift bags that will go out to the attendees of the retreat, you can do so. It will be in Savannah, Georgia, October the 16th through the 18th. So make sure you grab your tickets. I'd love for you to be there with me. The Fearless quote of the day: we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. That's by Max Dupree. The other quote is by Eric Thomas. And please go look up Eric Thomas. He's called a hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas, or E.T. You put in any of those and he got you. Phenomenal skill and average will, or average skill and phenomenal will makes a difference. Will makes a difference. You can be gifted, but if you're not motivated, and you can say all day, my gift, Joe, but the Bible say my gift is going to make room for me. It says that absolutely. Every scripture before and after said the action has got to be applied. So if you're not ready to apply the action, what is making room for? It ain't going to happen. That I can guarantee. You can be gifted at all things, which is your phenomenal skill. But if you have an average will, which means you're not dedicated to that thing, this I can promise you, it can only sustain you but for so far. But for a little bit. Poquito. Just for a little bit. You cannot be scared to write it. You cannot be scared to see it. You cannot be afraid to remember. They are the 3 things that are stopping you from being committed, and they are absolutely the 3 things that are going to get you committed. I'm glad if you feel inspired or motivated. That's amazing. But I want you to be committed. I don't want you to allow your safety net to kill you. Don't be like JoJo. I stayed at that job 5 years with my safety net. Okay, nobody do what I do, so I'm just going to stay here. If I leave, man, they be in a world of hurt. Let them be in a world of hurt. Prepare yourself for the next step. How do you do that? You write it out. You put it somewhere you can see it every day, and then you remember it. You have to have a goal, and then you got to work that goal. Yes, your gift will make room for you. Everything it says before and after, you got to do the work of it. There is action required. It ain't just going to happen. Ta-da, here it is. Nah, boo. It's going to require some action on your behalf. So on this wonderful day, I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. Y'all, this backwards mirror is killing me. Be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. A to the men, Tiffany. A to the men. So I want you to have an amazing day. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. And if this has helped you, please let me know so that I know I'm not talking to myself. And if you share, please tag me so I can tell you thank you so very much for sharing the show. I hope you have an amazing day. And I'll see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Thank you again for listening to the Live Past Crazy Show with Yanmitra Jojo. She is the only Live Past Crazy specialist, and she is glad you spent your time with her. If you would like to know more about why she knows crazy and about her journey, she invites you to check out her website, www.livepastcrazy.com, as well as follow her on social media. Yanmitra is her tag for IG, Twitter, and Facebook, JANMETRA. She also invites you to join her on the Fearless Morning Show, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. on Facebook Live. Again, you can find us on Facebook with the Fearless Morning Show page or by name. Remember, as a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialists, individuals are able to identify the crazy in their lives and develop a specific blueprint to begin to live past crazy. Do you know anybody who needs to live past crazy? Then send them over her way, because there is life after crazy. Be peaceful, period. And Yanmitra will see you guys on the next show.